a couple outliers that usually don't fit that description. But now into Champion Select we go, as AHQ are looking to solidify and lock in that second playoffs position.
So for Alpha Esports, they do have a lot of options in terms of what they want to do for the early game. At the beginning of the split, there has been a lot of questions what kind of team they are, and it seemed to be they're more of a plan A, plan B kind of deal, where if early game doesn't really prosper for them, then it means a calm and steady mid game, and then they fight at late game and take advantage of the long death timers. And now HQ, will they ban Lee Sin or will they ban Rek'Sai?
Oh, that's a good question here. It looks like, honestly, it's coming through. The Elise is taken away immediately by AHQ, and then they target a little bit more toward Assassin. You got to remember, Assassin actually has like a lethal Kassadin as well. He's been one of the only players in the PCS to play it regularly, so that might be enough to draw a ban, but no, they respect CatJug a little bit more and take away his Lee Sin.
And take note, CatJug has the most amount of MVPs in the entirety of PCS. I think he's holding 5 MVP titles at the moment. And with that, we'll have to see what Alpha decides to put for CatJug, as it has been sort of being put out of priority just to see what kind of jungler he is going to pick up for a counter. But Kalista is going to be open for the very first time, I believe, today.
Yeah, and Kalista going to get locked in as Aphelios was banned out by Alpha, so now it's up to them whether or not they wish to take the gutsy pick of Ornn, possibly. Is it still available? Or do we see Rock go back once again onto his Aatrox? There's also the Senna that could be the answer there for Atlan if he just wants to match, position for position. Or the Wukong, which still sits at 100% pick and win rate today in the PCS.
It has been creating chaos for the backline of AHQ, or rather for teams in general, and considering what will AHQ decide to pick up just to enable that safety. If CatJug plays a Jarvan, this will completely be very different from the usual. He usually picks up, Olaf. Olaf is open. Trundle is open. Any of the early game aggressive damage dealers. So for Alpha, they will not go for Jarvan and will go for this Varus.
All right, so Varus is going to get picked up there, have a little bit of the setup available to try and, tee up some of these key members of AHQ. If Rock is able to get close, we're going to get to see him on the Wukong. Now for AHQ, they go ahead and lock in the Olaf. What do they wish to try and bring out here? Uniboy Katarina. You're playing with my heart, so I'm not even drawing attention to it. The Taric, though. Taric has kind of seen a bit of rise in popularity when it comes to the PCS, especially out of teams like Liab.
Yeah, it has been quite paired, especially it's really nicely paired with the Kalista. You just throw the Taric as your initiation tool, and as well as lock in with a stun in as well. So it really lines up perfectly for AHQ. And just in case, since there is a dive, so you also manage to get a stun on whoever is going near Wacko in the later parts of the game. And this is going to be the typical support for the Varus to keep him safe and keep him intact, and that's going to be the Kench.
Yeah, Kench there locked in for Kino. Kino can also look to try and make some roams into the middle of the map, as we've seen a lot of the Kench players do when it comes to the PCS. So maybe going to try and provide some assistance over to Assassin, who still is holding on to his counter pick. That does mean, though, with these being shown, that the jungle pool can really be hammered down here, especially the fact that AHQ have already taken away the Lee Sin, and the Olaf. Mainly, that's the trio that CatJug likes to play out of the jungle, and we might be needing to see something new from him.
Yeah, after being sort of cornered into these picks, we saw how CatJug will opt into the Echo pick, which worked once, and it worked really, really well in the previous match that they've encountered. And again, I want to tap into this Taric pick, and it really denies the aggression from Alpha with, I believe, the Cosmic Radiance. So that is definitely the game for Alpha. It's all about fighting, and kills. So for HQ to get this pick as well really sort of denies that kind of strategy.
All right, so we're seeing the Jarvan actually be banned out. So my question is, do they just go ahead and get rid of the Echo as well, like you mentioned, and then just really try and force CatJug onto something completely different? There is still that Rek'Sai that's available, so I think that's what AHQ are kind of, deciding. Do we want to give him the comfort pick or more of the meta pick that we've been seeing throughout the whole of the PCS, as Uniboy will not be having his Zoe for their final game of the regular season?
Yep, and Syndra is out of the question, and LeBlanc as well. So the trio, massive damage, massive burst is not gonna be there. That's gonna be a respect ban against Assassin. I really like this pick. And you mentioned Kassadin is still open for Assassin too. So this has been the trend for Alpha. They all will always get the last 2 picks and set up for either a potential counter, especially for Catjug. And if they do lock this in, that will be for Assassin. Or unless they can switch it up.
I think they're gonna. I'd say get your jungle. I don't think you need to blind pick your mid lane just yet. As there we go. It's gonna be locked in here for the Rek'Sai of Catjug, and now, ooh, are we seeing a little bit of trickery here? Possibly a Kalista top lane, or yeah, because the Tark's already been locked in, so it can't be a support setup. That makes a little bit more sense. Civ gonna be on to the set.
It makes me wonder if AHQ just really wanted to get another AD carry, put that on Ziv, put the Kalista on Ziv, as they saw the hover of Renekton on the side of Alpha, assuming that they would make a quick swapperoo with Rock and Assassin there on those 2 picks on the Wukong and Renekton. But now this is interesting. If you do lock this in, you will have a mid Galio.
A mid Galio, and with that, it's a lot of tee up here coming out from AHQ. A lot of dive possibly going to be shown here, especially when you have an Olaf, you have a Tark that's going to lay down that ultimate to try and keep everyone safe. And are we going to see possibly Assassin actually be flexed over toward a Varus and maybe go lethality build? Well, the Orianna, I think, makes a little bit more sense, but to be fair, Assassin, I have not been too impressed with his Orianna play. He's one of the other 2 Oriannas that have been missing a lot of shockwaves when it comes to some of these team fights.
True, but you have the Wukong now to help assist through landing the balls well with the knockups and as well as keeping them intact. So perhaps this will be a different approach, but with this, though, this means they're going to be opting towards objective fights and as well as the 5v5s with this composition.
Yeah, and you also have some nice tee up there coming with your Chain of Corruptions, but AHQ, that is a scary, scary dive composition. So I think for the side of Alpha, they got to be a little bit careful. We are going to be paying a quick look over toward the jungles, but we don't even got time for that. It's going to be loading on into Rift immediately here as AHQ, 1 victory over Alpha would secure them their 2nd spot as far as playoffs and get a bye into the winner's top bracket. Meanwhile, Alpha, they got nothing to gain, nothing to lose here, so maybe a bit of experimentation and maybe a little bit of fun here. Depends. We'll see how this one pans out as we load on into the Rift.
It's absolutely true. I mean, you're right. There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to gain for Alpha. Perhaps this is a little bit of a reserved game for them as to not reveal anything too much as they still have playoffs to play. And this is definitely a more safe and regular approach coming from, especially as coming from Alpha.
Yeah, for Alpha, it's going to be Catjug now on the Rek'Sai. He also knows the very true keystone to be taking, as Kino and Ysera is apparently just taking photos of himself. Oh, that's just evil, Kino. I'm really hungry, and I'm not probably going to have supper tonight because of the curfew.
And he's going to keep eating that.
Oh, I'm jealous. It looks so good, the stew. All serious now here, though, for AHQ. The victory secures them a playoff bye, which gives them a little bit of break come next week. It also makes it so that they don't have to worry about showing too much of their hand. Another thing, too, being on the top side of the bracket, they are allowed to lose 1 series, and they can still fight back into the final. So I think it's always good to feel like you're, going to have that little bit of a safety net. I doubt AHQ are going to be dropping games, though. I feel like they're one of the teams that will try and win all the way to the finals.
Very true. Especially they don't want to give anything towards Talon, who still has a chance in case Alpha wins this one. But in the meantime, I really like this composition from AHQ. You did mention that there is a lot of dive. There is a good amount of damage as well at the early parts of the game, considering you've got Kongye on this Olaf and as well as Wacko. We've seen early kills on this Kalista as well. And with the exact same matchup, we've seen this before on the side of I believe the Liab games yesterday, it was definitely a Callista and a Varus. And earlier on, especially if you're paired with an aggressive support, an aggressive jungler, it all pans out really well.
And with that, too, there is not a whole lot of ward coverage trying to track where this Rek'Sai and Olaf are going to be pathing. So both Catjug and Kongyu can make surprise ganks where they wish to on the map, as they're both heading towards the bot lane. Assassin going to be on this Orianna, and like you mentioned, later on into the game, we're going to be looking for that nice combo between him and the Wukong with that double off knock-up, and it'll be pretty good. A nice little trade here actually going to come out from Uniboy. And does force Assassin to have to play a little bit more safe here in the lane.
Yeah, and I mean, understandable, Assassin does have at least 2 defensive laning spells. But at the same time, Uniboy has only 1. But the poke coming from Uniboy is still painful on this Galio earlier on. Actually, I forgot to mention that this is definitely one of the first times we're going to see Uniboy on the Galio. He usually has a more a backline DPS sort of playstyle, and it is definitely quite different. I think the only thing that's quite similar would be a Rumble. But let's see, as Alpha looking for a dive.
3 members up toward the top lane. Unfortunately for Civ, he does have that set, so he will have the Haymaker to try and get a little bit extra shielding. He's already taken a decent amount here. Going to go into the face breaker.
Wow.
A nice bit of damage, and he gets first blood as Rock is going to go down to the tower, and now in comes Uniboy looking to finish off another kill. An Assassin will go down as well. Force the flash over the wall, actually. Final auto attacks for the minions!
Oh!
Assassin will survive.
I thought, oh, Uniboy's not stopping.
Oh, Uniboy, he's
cute.
hunting.
Oh.
He doesn't know he's there. But Assassin able to survive with just a sliver of health, and that is not the dive Alpha we're looking for.
Really nice play coming from Ziv as well. Very patient. Decides to move toward, use the flash, time the face breaker, just gets 3 too. And oh my word, Wukong, Rock had to eat a lot of tower hits at that time.
So for them, that's going to be AHQ picking up the first blood in top lane, and Civ is going to be happy with that. I expect maybe Kongyu to maybe pay attention up there now and maybe try and get Rock really far behind, as Rock has been one of those players similar to, you know, Kurd and Rocky elsewhere in the PCS, where he likes to be aggressive in lane. He likes to dominate his matchup. So I'm expecting him trying to still go for the 1v1, even though the set has done the quick kill early on in the game.
For sure, as again, he does love to play that Aatrox. He does like to bother the backline rather of the enemy team.
Likes to enjoy it while he can, but all is fine for now. As we'll take a look toward this mid lane. Still a little bit of trading here and there. The jungle, though, yeah, pretty similar as far as what we get to see from both of these players. Kongya likes to pay a little bit more attention toward his mid lane. Catjung, though, he likes going for those solo queue-esque, you know, insane plays. As Sarah's actually going to let the side of Alpha head on back to the base.
Indeed, as we saw the minion grab so that the minions will not crash towards the tower. As Wacko will join Kongya in taking this dragon. And again, AHQ has priority. Alpha, in the meantime, will have to give this away. Again, this is the playstyle of Alpha Esports. It's fine to give away a few dragons, especially 2 dragons, as long as they make an impact or an exchange across the map. But so far, they tried with Uniboy, but he's a Galio. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, Uniboy, he's fine. He just backs off in the lane. He also has a Justice Punch to get himself to safety. It's always a fun little cheeky interaction there, as Waco deciding not to use his spear earlier on in the game. Gets it on the back, and that's called efficiency right there, all right? Get it during the animation while the back, so you don't waste too much time. The thing, though, about Alpha has been, though, if they don't get an early play to go in their favor, especially like what we saw in top lane, and the fact now that Civ is actually chunking out Rock anytime he tries to go in for a fight, is oftentimes they need other places on the map to go in their favor, and whoo! Wacko almost gets taken down.
When Kino, too, having to eat a couple of tower hits, just probably 1, but just in time, as Sarah as a return to his lane, but this is quite different because normally we don't really see Atlan and Kino be very active by themselves, and because of they saw a chance, they know Isera is back.
Ooh, Assassin just gets caught up there. The axe is going to land, and unfortunately Assassin, he can use his shockwave, but unfortunately it doesn't affect the Olaf, and that's going to be the kill going on over to Kangyu.
Beautifully done, nice patience, nice tower juggle coming from Uniboy as he ate a couple of tower hits, and again, because of Ragnarok, Shockwave would not do you much, therefore Outplay will not be available for you. Very clean once again by AHQ.
There we go. AHQ find themselves a nice, quick little dive, and that isn't in the full combo as, Rock is starting to really take some damage. Luckily for him, he's actually gotten himself a decent amount of a CS advantage, so that kind of makes up for the fact that the kill went on over to Civ earlier on in the game. And for Alpha, they are looking more toward these team fights later in the game, where you're going to, like we mentioned, pair the ball with the Wukong, pair together the ultimates, go for the big knock-up combo. The lane phase, though, it's been a bit rough.
Very true, as Wako does have a significant lead in terms of CS against Atlan over here, and in terms of, I guess, performance for both of these AD carries, both of them have been very consistent, but Wako, experience-wise, he definitely has the edge, and for Alpha, this is definitely not the usual Alpha we see. We see them usually all over the place, trying to wreak havoc for either top side or especially mid. You pair that up with Assassin, but it seems to me they're falling back to the, just as you mentioned, the 5v5s with the combo later on, which is AHQ's game style as well. So they will be in a comfort spot, and the question is who can play that better, because AHQ, again, they've been winning these games because of that.
And maybe it's a different kind of style we're coming out from Alpha, because if you remember last week, Alpha was the one team to throw away the single biggest lead we've ever seen in PCS. It was, what, a 12,000 gold lead? And they ended up losing the game. So maybe, you know, it's taking a step back and saying we can't give away games like that. Because especially when you're head that far, to have it go so wrong like that, which I didn't think was possible, but they somehow proved me wrong. Maybe it's them, you know, looking to say, hey, you know what, our play style, though we love trying to get aggressive early, if it ain't going to work, it ain't going to work. We might as well just try and keep ourselves sane and a little bit more composed.
It does make sense. It is going to add a little bit of variety, as so that Alpha Esports will not be too dependent on that sort of approach. So this gives them a little bit of flexibility going towards the playoffs. If this works, then that's great. At least they can mix it up a little bit.
And now we got ourselves AHQ rotating the bot lane up toward top side. That is going to allow them to get Rift Herald pressure as Atlan and Kino. Only Kino is actually roamed up there. Atlan, he is only just a Varus, but he can actually interrupt Civ if he tries to go for a teleport. Civ, though, could easily go for the 1v1 if the Varus is not careful, so that should be Atlan maybe deciding to back off, but no, he actually decided to step forward, and that's going to force out his ultimate. Haymaker, though, is going to connect, and you know what Civ's about to do. He's got himself that showstopper, has the flash available, but decides not to use it.
Interesting. I suppose it will be in eventually a flash for flash, as Atlan does have that one. Rock will make it dove upon.
Got himself some safety though. Sierra is going to come on over, and that is going to be the Rift Herald pop. They also get the turret plate before Shelly gets her charge off, and they might actually get the full tower here, as there we go. Full plating going on over to this bot lane and jungle combo. And that will be first brick gold going in favor of AHQ at 11.5 minutes.
Nicely done, and as well as swapping out Wako at top side, so he gets a couple of chunked out towers here for the
yeah, it's going to be also you know, Cat Jug going ahead and stealing away the camp, as well as securing the dragon in favor of Alpha. We'll see, though, here is what is AHQ going to look to try and do in response. They were able to get themselves that first brick gold, so I think they'll be pretty happy. As it looks like I'm going to be going on a bit of a solo adventure. It's all good here. Welcome, everybody, to the PCS. in the ASMR cast, I guess how it goes. It looks like we have a little bit of a disconnect with Riku, so we'll try and get her back online when we can. For now, though, it is going to be AHQ. Going to get some pressure down this bot lane with Kongya also showing. And this is already starting to expand their goal lead here on the side of AHQ, now about 2,500. There isn't really anything on the map for them to fight. They might start looking for these dives, though, as they have hit level 6. So for Alpha, that is a bit of a concern. Either way, AHQ are going to press forward and try and get some vision down into the jungle. Maybe look for a dive here as Alpha have to be careful. Kino's going to spot it out. Unfortunately, Allen, he's got flash still available. In comes that Galio. The stun's going to be there. Kino's able to get him to safety, but the flash on forward. Kino might be joining his 80 carries. He gets taken on down, and that is going to be 2 kills going in favor of AHQ as they're able to find the kill.
Wow, will you look at that, as AHQ again has been pressing on with their lead, and with HQ finding CatJug as well, just taking off the ward. Might be in a little bit trouble, but he's gonna be fine. But yeah, this seems to be very scary for Alpha in general. Let's take a look at that again. This is HQ's dive. Look at Kanye coming from the jungle of Alpha Esports, and just easy pickings again with this Olaf. Nothing can stop him once he pops that ult.
Unfortunately, not a whole lot you can do there, and unfortunately, Assassin also going to get taken down, and for Alpha, this game may not matter as far as their standings go, but for AHQ, they're wanting to lock in that bye during the playoffs, and currently now sit 4,000 gold ahead of Alpha before 15 minutes, and they're looking to do the exact same play once again. No Galio ultimate this time, though, but they should be able to zone away Atlan and Kino away from the tower. If they keep up this pressure.
Indeed, and will you look at a lot of defensive vision for the side of Alpha as HQ can keep doing this? Ragnarok is going to be back off cooldown as well, so we'll take a look at that again. Oh, it's Assassin being extra aggressive, not knowing that he's going to meet Ziv at the riverside, and there's a little smash-a-roo. Easy pickings again for HQ.
Yeah, for Civ, he does the quick old alley-oop and sets up the Orianna to just get whacked upon. And again, AHQ positioning down toward this bot lane. It's forcing CatJug to have to spend a lot of time. Meanwhile, Kongi is just going to at least try and farm back. That's the one thing, at least for CatJug, he's been able to do pretty fast jungle clears, and he is sticking around just in case, but Kongi knows that he's over here. AHQ know everyone is here. CatJug can try and save what he can, but unfortunately, the tower's already going to go down. Assassin's going to try and answer, has Shockwave available, but it's already too late. 2 members get taken on down. Shockwave is there, but Waco's able to get to safety, and the Cosmic Radiance comes on down, and AHQ do not lose a single member.
And that's what we're talking about. That's what we were talking about earlier in draft, and this Cosmic Radiance will really ruin the all-in style of Alpha Esports, considering you do have that Wukong, you do have CatJug who likes to play aggressively, and if ever someone does dive for Waco, and we've seen that before, there is going to be an easy stun for that angle to stop any sort of aggressive dive. So let's take a look at this again. They know, HQ knows that CatJug was around, and again, because of this Galio pick enabling any sort of easy pickings, for Wacko, nicely done flash as well, and the Cosmic Radiance just kicked in for that invulnerability, and no damage were taken for Wacko at the time.
And that's now a scary 6,000 gold lead in favor of AHQ now. For Alpha, they're starting to look a little desperate when it comes to some of these plays, not even able to pick up a single kill, and already looking to maybe be a setup for a perfect game here from AHQ if they can continue on this path. Kino, he's trying to get the tongue lash out, but I'd be a little bit careful. The only thing Alpha's been able to get this game is that single Infernal Drake, and AHQ are going to go ahead and start up their second Drake and take down the first Cloud Dragon of the game.
Very true, and with AHQ having a lot of healthy towers still and having a lot of control early game-wise, it is going to be a little bit difficult for Alpha Esports to try and contest these objectives, considering that, again, their success, and especially the time when they rattled AHQ.
Ooh, Alpha trying to set up a trap. The ward comes out, though, and is able to keep AHQ safe. Rock is going to continue pushing up in the top lane, though. And Civ should be able to answer. At least for Rock, he's been able to farm up pretty well on this Wukong and actually has a level lead. So not all going bad here on the side of Alpha. They still have an advantage here and there.
Indeed, as Alpha is trying to pick up the pieces and trying to equalize their losses, considering AHQ has been winning several of the fights already, all of the fights actually that ensued. But yes, last time that AHQ was rattled by Alpha, it was Assassin on a more active position as a solo laner, paired with CatJug. It was a Lee Sin and LeBlanc combo, I believe, and with this pick in particular, it doesn't really enable them to do that and bother and match Kongya's aggression, considering Uniboy is on the Scalio, who's there every single time Kongya decides to gank and dive a lane.
So with that, Rift Herald is going to be secured once again in favor of AHQ, as there's not really any response coming out from Alpha. Assassin just kind of waiting. They're waiting for some items. Then they can go for these team fights possibly and try and turn things around. Bit of a waiting game here on the side of Alpha, and something they're not usually accustomed to. Usually they're the ones trying to go for the gutsy, aggressive plays via CatJug, but he's been pretty calm as far as the map goes, just farming up in his jungle because he can't find an opening anywhere on the lanes.
Exactly, and it's due to the fact that HQ got ahead.
Yeah, the fact that AHQ were able to get ahead.
One of those things.
Yeah, the fact they were able to get ahead.
But I think it all started because of that failed dive from Alpha, and after that, it was more of a trend on where, okay, because of that, let's try to slow this down.
Oh, Kongya able to land an axe, though. That's still CatJug. He's whoa, Kongya,
Oh,
hello.
my word.
He goes over the wall. He's an angry Olaf. He takes down CatJug. That's the aggression we usually see out of CatJug. Is Kongya. He's angry today, apparently, as that's going to be Rift Herald popped in mid lane, and that's going to force Atlan and Kino to have to reconsider, as Civ now looking for a flank opportunity if these two stick around, as there we go, a nice double stun is going to land, and you know what's going to happen. Civ brings down the slam. That's going to force Kino to have to flash out to safety. Ooh. Shockwave lands onto two members into the Wukong ultimate. Rock's trying to turn this one around. A massive haymaker is there, and it is a messy fight coming out from both sides. It is going to be a trade, though. 2 for 2. As the tower does fall in mid lane.
That was a really yummy snipe coming from Atlan there, and managed to chunk a lot, especially Civ and Kongya. Again, especially Kongya, of course, at the moment, not going to be as he's going to be painful, but not tanky. So you see Kongya, Civ managed to really land a nice haymaker, but he's practically sandwiched in between Alpha members, and there's no way of escaping, so at least Alpha managed to get kills out of that engage.
So, you know, there is the sign of hope, but you take a look toward the gold graph, and it's still a bit concerning, especially the fact that Atlan is still a pretty far piece behind Waco in particular. That's a 2,500 gold lead on the Callista. That's pretty much a full Zeal item, as he's already got himself his Hurricane, as well as the Berserker Greaves upgrade. With that Bork, he's a bit disgusting. Especially at this point, and we'll see him continue just to scale harder and harder on this Callista. Can be caught out, though, by Atlan if he's not careful.
Yeah, the good sign is, you know, that's Wacko with no cleanse, that's Wacko with no QSS, so that is the window of Alpha Esports to redeem themselves after a very sad early game, considering that this is Alpha. Again, Alpha has been one of those teams that managed to really get ahead.
Yeah, the fact that they're able to get ahead at times is always a good sign coming out from the squad, but now you can look, the pings are coming on over, and CatJug, he's trying to go home. Unfortunately, he's buying in his base, and you know what happens. That's why you don't buy until you've gotten yourself back, and that's going to be a kill going over again to AHQ. Rock now at least trying to defend the tower while he can, but unfortunately there's not a whole lot he will be able to do, as that tower is going to fall. And if you're on the side of Alpha right now, you need a little bit of a refresh if you want to try and come back here, as we're going to go ahead and see a quick replay. As, yeah, it's just CatJug with, that's tragic. That's very tragic. And it's not stopping there, as now Atlan's going to get caught out in the river, bringing down the slam. As Civ, in comes the Galio, and whoo! Disintegrates the Varus, and now Assassin is trying to run for the hills. Unfortunately, he's going to be forced to flash away, and like that, AHQ can go ahead and just, just to go ahead and start up the Baron.
Oh my word. And with that, Alpha still lingering around the Baron buff. A Baron hit, rather. We'll see as Uniboy.
Here we go, Uniboy just goes ahead, jumps on Kino, and that's going to be another knock-up. And Catchug, he's trying to salvage this at this point, but unfortunately, he's going to get taken down here very shortly. He gets himself over to the side. A massive shockwave is there, though, and Rock is getting the healing off the Conqueror. He's going to get stunned up again, but Waco is still untouched during this fight. A triple kill for Rock, but guess what? The Callista is just stronger, and that's going to be the ace coming through for AHQ.
Waco was just untouched in that fight, so this Callista has been kiting around, and considering that is Runon's and Bork completed, so Alpha wanted to try and stop the Baron from earlier, but let's take a look at that fight beforehand that cost that, and smash from Uniboy, and with that elimination on towards one member from Alpha, it's going to be a temporary 4v5 for AHQ.
Yeah, and you saw there on the live feed very shortly, it looks like AHQ were able to secure the objective in the very end. At least I believe it was a Drake, so they're going to get themselves another stack towards Soul. And I'll give it to Alpha. They had the turnaround, and this is kind of the, miracle fight they are looking for.
Beautiful shockwave coming from Assassin there. But yeah, you're right. It was the perfect setup, except that Waco all this time stayed alive. And we talked about how when it came to the mid to late game, Waco will be that reliable source of danger for Alpha, and it showed in that previous fight.
So there we go. That's now their second Cloud Drake, going to get an extra little bit of cooldown reduction onto their ultimates, and can look to get Soul a little bit later on for a little bit extra move speed. And like that, HQ still in definite control over this game against Alpha. As I'll give it credit to them, they were able to turn around a couple kills, and there is that possibility where that insane team fight kicks in later on, but at the moment, it's still AHQ's game to lose.
Exactly, and considering you were seeing Waco 603 right now on this Callista, and for Alpha, it's a little bit bad news that you see Waco on this QSS. We did mention that there's a little bit of tiny window without defenses. Now Alpha trying to scout for where the enemy is, and they found them with a tremor sense, at least, as Kino is staying there.
He's just like, come on, throw an axe at me, see what happens. He's going to try and go back to base here, but still AHQ looking to position themselves around the Baron, and there you go. Started back up here as that a Callista and Olaf can rip apart through it pretty fast, as well as Civ, as he's, I believe, also finished off his board. Catchug over the side of the wall, maybe looking for a steal here at the moment. It's a bit of a troublesome situation, though, as Assassin's also nearby, can look to fly and line up the ultimate there with that Wukong. A nice face breaker, though, is going to come out from Civ, and that forces the rest of the team to have to back off. Rock forced the flash, still getting slowed here. Stun is not going to land, doesn't get lined up, and Alpha are able to interrupt the Baron take by AHQ.
All right, so nothing burnt just yet for actually both sides, except for the Fate Skull. So Cosmic Radiance still intact. You've got the Cyclone coming from Rock as well from the Wukong and Shockwave. So these are key ults that Alpha Esports can still use, but you see Assassin and blue buff. We'll see whether or not they're going to walk towards that. Rock has teleport.
Rock with teleport available is going to start pressuring, as that's going to show up now on the map. Uniboy also over there toward the side. Assassin looking to put in his ball. It's not close enough, though. Rock is trying to center his way on in. It's going to be Catchug going over the wall, and he steals away the Baron into the Shockwave now, and Rock is able to find himself the ultimate. Needs the second reactivation, though, and there it is, but in comes the Galio, and AHQ, it's still a 50-50, but the Callista is down. The Varus is still up, and Alpha find their opening, as now AHQ have to start running away. Kongya underneath the tower. He's got nowhere to run. It's a triple kill for this Orianna, and the team fight is there. Unfortunately for Kongya, he's not able to finish off the kill on the Rek'Sai, and it's a clean ace for Alpha Esports.
Alpha be wildin' right now. We did mention that they like to slow down the game and they had the plan A, plan B kind of thing, but now they've eliminated the plan A and resulted to the plan B, which is all about the 5v5 fights. Let's take a look at this steal once more. Catchug very patient. The ball is placed already there, so you can immediately press that shockwave button. Boom. Triple man, AHQ had to suffer their losses, and beautiful smite coming from the side of Alpha as well. Kajug, wow, this is an ace as well.
Yeah, it's an ace, and they all have Baron buff available. It's actually a massive takeaway on the side of Alpha. AHQ, they had this advantage for the first 20 minutes of the game, but it's one misstep, and unfortunately, the animation follows through for that slam coming out from the Olaf, but unfortunately, the damage isn't there, and now Alpha, only 1,000 gold behind of AHQ, and Dragon going to be spawning in about 30 seconds.
And we were a little bit worried because this is a different Alpha that we're seeing today. But look at Rock, though. He's 5-2-4 right now in this Wukong.
Let's see now. Alpha maybe looking for a play. Kongyu forced to use the Ragnarok pretty much on the frame of the Shockwave, so he'll get himself to safety.
But at this point, though, there's no Shockwave for the next Dragon, so that's something. So a trade for a Shockwave versus Ragnarok. I feel like that's a pretty good trade.
Civ, though, gotta be careful. This Orianna hits like a truck. She now has her death cap complete. Katjung is just going to go ahead and zone off as Waco may try and go for a steal. Kongyu is also over there toward the side. If they are able to steal it away, it would be Cloud Soul, but it won't happen here as Uniboy looking for a flank here on the Galio, not able to find it. Does have Flash available, but he won't be able to get in zone. And Civ really pressing forward. Oh no, Rock gets caught out toward the side, has to use his ultimate to try and at least delay what he can. Gets a decent amount of damage onto Waco. It's not enough though, and the shutdown goes on over to Kongyu.
Quite an unfortunate escape path. If the blast cone propelled Rock into the northern direction of things, it would have been better. But he went towards the side and had to meet two members of AHQ. So that was indeed very unfortunate on the side of Alpha, considering they just came off from an ace, has Baron buff, and now not able to maximize that buff.
Yeah, unfortunately there, it's the Baron buff is going to dissipate as they weren't able to actually push out anything. They still got themselves a bunch of gold, and they have at least closed the gap here between them and AHQ. And that was more or less the objective when they were trying to steal away that Baron. So I think Alpha are going to be happy with that, and AHQ now, it feels like they've had to slow down a little, and that gives even more time here for the side of Alpha to scale.
Indeed, and considering that you see Atlan already has 2 items with the Ginsus and Bork, so his autos are really going to hurt HQ. Considering that, again, this Olaf pick really strong early, but eventually he will sort of lose his use in this composition, as once he starts to try to run towards Alpha, he will be shredded down by all of the damage in the world of like Atlan and Assassin. As you see, there's a lot of respect using that Ragnarok as the Shockwave was about to hit him. And also QSS for Atlan as well, so there's added safety just in case things get a little bit too sticky.
Kongyu, though, has actually gone ahead and rushed into a GA, so he's got that second life now on the Olaf, so he can again pop that Ragnarok and try and go for a dive. And it feels like the opportunity for AHQ's composition, where we saw in the early game they were able to pull off dive and dive continually, it started to subside because of the scary fact that Assassin is able to survive during these fights and can lay down so much damage when everyone piles together.
And this is Assassin pouring all of the resources once again on damage, which means there's not exactly a lot of threat that has been apparent in the past few fights. All of these shockwaves are managed to take off. Assassin has been positioning well, so not exactly forced to build defensively just yet. So for HQ, time is running out for them as well, because at the end of the day, at the end of the game, when it comes, Wako will be your only source of reliable DPS, safe DPS, and Alpha can overwhelm HQ and just eliminate that win condition from HQ.
And you see Alpha looking to press forward. Civ is on a flank, and Civ on set with a bunch of flanks tell me something I haven't heard before. What's scary, though, is Rock has actually finished off his Death Dance, which is actually now ridiculous on Wukong. So he's going to get himself some extra lifesteal, as well as slow down the damage as it comes in as a bleed instead. So for the side of Alpha, their time to start fighting is just over the horizon.
For sure, and you're right, this Death Dance is a magnificent Spike, especially once Rock will be more confident in entering these all-ins, diving towards 5 people in AHQ. Definitely get a lot of sustain, and in combination of the Sterax as well, will allow the Wukong to last as long as he can. But in the meantime, just as it is going to be another waiting game, but Baron is also available, and as well as Dragon. AHQ is 1 Dragon away for Soul, so Alpha is looking into denying that.
Yeah, it would be nice to actually deny that Soul. That would give AHQ 30% cooldown reduction. Alpha did at least get that little bit of Infernal Drake, so they have a little bit extra damage overall. See Alpha though, looking in position. Waco gets caught out toward the side, and there is your combos.
Whoa.
Again, he gets the knock up. Uniboy trying to separate the fight as best as he can. Rock though, still able to do a decent amount of damage. Gets back over to safety, and now Alpha want to try and go for the re-engage. In comes the Rek'Sai over the wall, and there you go. That's going to be the kill. Showstopper though comes out, and Rock is going to be the prime target into the Facebreaker, and Kalista has been untouched during the fight. Atlan gets a little bit too close into the action. He's going to get taken down if he's not careful. Kongyu flashes on over, and AHQ are able to turn it back around, because without the cooldowns available for Alpha, they are just not able to turn this one around. Waco though steps too far forward, and he'll lose his life. Assassin kiting back on this Orianna against Kongyu, and now he's got to back off a decent amount of damage, and Assassin is able to turn this one back. Ziv though gets the Facebreaker, finds himself the shutdown. Kino though wants to eat him up for dinner, and like that, Ziv will fall, and it's the ace coming out for Alpha. At any point, he's going to try and turn it back. Oh my god, Ziv is still alive, and there you go. Ace in favor of AHQ.
What a wild game. You see that everything was already falling to pieces for Alpha, only see that Assassin is still on the side, surviving and chunking a huge deal of damage on HQ. It all started with Rock pulling the trigger, Cosmic Radiance denying any sort of initial damage on that dive. And once it expired, it was Alpha Esports time again to reinitiate. Shockwave has already been used, and looks like they've managed to get an elimination immediately on towards HK. Wako was untouched for the majority of this fight, but eventually the huge chunk from Assassin really enabled Wako's demise here. See that chunk? That is insane from Assassin.
Meanwhile, on our live feed, we can see it's going to be AHQ actually starting up the Dragon, and it does go in their favor. So Cloud Soul is secured. Rock, though, is going to get engaged. Again, Ziv, though, brings him back into his team. In comes Uniboy on the Galileo, looking for the knockup. Rock is separated from the rest of his team, and there is no trigger pulled on the rest of Alpha, as AHQ are able to secure the Drake and now have set eyes on to the Baron.
That is 40 seconds on the clock, more or less, for Rock to respawn. No teleport either, so if Alpha decides to try and take this Baron away from HQ, it'll be a little bit difficult, as it is a 4v5.
We'll see here. Catjug does have his GA available. Does he go in for the big steal? Has been shut down quite a bit this time around when it comes to his Rek'Sai in this game. He's still looking over toward the side. Waco over the wall. Has the Ren Sacks available. Going on over 50-50. And they steal away the Baron! And Catjung and Assassin are able to do it. The LDL duo come up huge. Shockwave is going to land. Catjung actually almost able to take down the kill. Civ getting down pretty low. He uses the Showstopper once again and trying to go aggressive, but the shutdown is there. And Alpha get the turnaround. Atlan with the Chain of Corruption able to land. And Kongyu is going to get taken down. Waco, though, in the back line. Trying to 1v4. In comes Uniboy, though, and Waco is somehow still alive. Atlan is going to get taken down to extremely low health, and it's still ongoing here. But here comes Rock on the Wukong, not going to pull the trigger on his clone. And the shutdowns go back and forth. Alpha, though, able to steal away the Baron.
That is wild. It's not even a Catjug smite steal. It was just a ball. Or either the dissonance coming from Assassin here. Let's take a look at that again.
That was ridiculous coming out. Ooh! Catjung able to help steal that away with Assassin, and then the incoming fight here is just a bit scary on both sides, as you got the engage that was there from Assassin. You see the re-engage coming back, though, from the set. Unfortunately, they're able to kite out, and that's a big ultimate coming out of the Varus. And Waco, he tries his best, and he's able to turn around this fight greatly, at least try and equal it out. Uniboy trying to provide him coverage, but still, though, both sides walk away with casualties, but the Baron does go in favor of the side of Alpha. And now 25-16, AHQ still with a slight gold lead, but you can feel the tension building on both of these squads, where Alpha unfortunately have a little bit of time. Let's see though, Civ getting a little bit aggressive here. Chain of Corruption is going to land, and that forces him to go into the stopwatch immediately. Rock wants to go in for the re-engage. Cosmic Radiance comes down and is just able to keep Civ alive. Rock can't finish off the kill. He finally comes through, but he doesn't finish it. Unfortunately for him, Civ is able to walk away, and Alpha, still though feeling confident, push in the mid lane. Cannon Minion is there, and now they can continue going on forward here in one moment, as that is going to be the second tier tower.
This is insane, as, wow, they're now diving, or rather going towards this base of Alpha, or HQ rather, and this is such a surprising turn of events.
And this is huge. If AHQ lose this game, Talon can steal away the playoff bye if they take down HKA in the following game tonight. Alpha able to crack open the base of AHQ here at 38 minutes.
This is going to be, they're even in gold. Alpha still has Baron buff, about to expire in a few seconds. And with that said, they're still lingering around and hoping to see if someone will get the bait. As again, the damage from Orianna has been working out so well. And that's reaching that late game where Alpha Esports is also really, really scary when you come across them.
It's a bit spooky. It's a bit scary. A little bit of downtime here, though. It doesn't actually end as... Oh, Civ was close. But Assassin able to escape with the blast cone.
The thing is, the good story about, oh, HQ still on hunted duty.
Well, here we go. Teleport's going to come on out. Catchung, though, able to get on top of Waco. Waco, he might get taken out if he's not careful. That is going to be Ysera coming back in for the rest of the fight. Assassin completely whiffs on the shockwave, and that could be the nail in the coffin. He's going to get taken on down. Waco trying to kite back for his life the best he can. Stun is not going to land, but those Ren stacks are going to be able to help take down Rock as Waco on this Callista, able to kite for his life.
I love the approach from AHQ. It is one of those times where they said, okay, let us put a stop to this because
Alpha.
there is a huge risk. Is this a base race?
Atlan's going to try and push in. Uniboy is there, though. Unfortunately, there's nothing they can do. You do see Civ. He's going to actually cancel his recall. It's still 30 seconds on Assassin, 30 seconds on Rock, and Rek'Sai and the Varus are the ones left to defend here. Kongyu, though, has his ultimate. He's just going to rush on in. He's got the GA available, and AHQ, they're looking to lock in the playoff bye as Alpha tried to go for the race, but they were outnumbered and outgunned, and like that, AHQ lock in their playoff bye.
I really love AHQ in this one, as they were sort of fed up with it, considering that they every time Baron has been stolen, they can't close the game. So at that point, when Alpha wanted a reset, it was them saying, okay, we're just gonna walk towards the lane and catch you off guard. And it was the perfect situation, because I was just about to say, Assassin built completely on burst damage, zero defensive items. So they were always banking on Assassin to have the prime position. And AHQ, all they had to do is just ruin that, and that's what they did. Yeah,
AHQ, that was still a scary game for them. And I got to give credit to Waco on the Callista. Absolute mad lad, kiting out with the passive there, applying all those Ren stacks. It made it very difficult for Alpha to try and close out that game. And I'll say a bit out of character here was Catchug. Even though he helped with securing that Baron, the steal, I felt like the Rek'Sai had little to no impact for a majority of this game.
Very true. After that one single dive at top side where they 3-manned Ziv at the tower around level 3, it didn't work out so well, and after that you didn't really see Catchug anymore, and I assume this has been the trend. Scared to do anything else and just wait for late game, and this was the time where Alpha was just wanting to push the waves, and HQ, again, after 2 Barons, they've had enough. Let's just interrupt and catch Assassin without the whole 5, and it worked out very well in their favor.
And like that, they're able to take home the victory as Unfortunately, Rock, he was so close yet so far. And with the extra bit of healing coming out from that Bloodthirster, Wicca was able to come back and carry the match. And you like seeing that damage chart coming out from AHQ. That is like an inline damage chart. Everyone contributing to the fights. Meanwhile, you had Alpha, where it was all heavily relying on Assassin, and that one missed shockwave ended up costing them everything.
That was supposed to be massive. Again, it was a glass cannon build. It was just invested on damage, which has been working out so well, especially you see Wako getting chunked huge with a single dissonance from Assassin. But because it wasn't a 5v5, Assassin was caught off guard, and AHQ, again, just pressed the engage button and said, we're going to end this here and now.
So again, congrats over to AHQ. With this victory, they are able to secure a playoff bye, and they'll be up in the top side of the winner's bracket. And MVP, it's going to go on over, of course, to the Kalista with Wako.
Mad respect to Wako. You can see the frustration in Alpha, just trying to reach the AD carry, trying to reach Wako on the Kalista. But again, on this champion, especially on such a talented player such as Wako, it's just definitely difficult to catch him and eliminate him.
So there we go. If you're on the side of AHQ, can rest easy and get a little bit of a break here and not having to play the very first matches when it comes to the playoffs. Alpha, though, they'll be seeded into, of course, the top side bracket, but they'll be playing immediately, so that will be next weekend for them. We'll see who they're actually going to be going up against, because that is still undecided, as now we shift our focus to the remaining games of the night, where everything is on the line as we start with a Battle of Hong Kong between Talon and Hong Kong Attitude.
It's definitely scary because it really affects the whole standings of, you know, Liab still waiting for their fate in the whole tournament. It's definitely in the hands of J-Team and HKA now, and that's the reason why the last two matches of the regular season is that heavy.
Yeah, because honestly, it's do or die here. If Hong Kong Attitude are able to get the victory, that forces J-Team to also have to match them. If not, they're able to actually secure a playoff spot, and then it'll be a tiebreaker scenario between Liab and J-Team, or vice versa, depending on who's actually able to take home the victory. They both have pretty tough opponents, though, and that's why I'm skeptical that we might be not ending the night with a three-way tie. I'm expecting it. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, though, it is, of course, going to be the Battle of Hong Kong. Stay around.